And there's no political diversity in the press corps. As you know, Politico did a study on this. How many registered Republicans in the White House press corps? Let me do the math. Oh, 0. That's a huge problem, don't you think?
I think I'm a registered independent myself. I think it's very important to be independent and neutral as a reporter, particularly when you're covering politics and covering the White House. I think that's extremely
I agree with
important.
you. Do you think that the people covering the White House rise to that standard? Do you think they're objective?
I do.
Do you read their Twitter feeds?
I mean, I can't speak for every single member of the association. I can't speak for the way every single person
Look, I mean, let's just be real. We both have...
No, let me answer your question. I do think it's very important to be neutral. I do think it's very important to report the facts. Right. I think it's very important to report robustly what the president is doing, and I think you should do that regardless of whether the president is a Republican or a Democrat.
I agree with that vehemently, but let's just drop the pretense. Here's the pretense. The pretense of objectivity or independence. The press in Washington hates Donald Trump. Now, he baits them. It's a two-way deal. He doesn't like them, and he goads them. But they rise to the bait every time, and in so doing, they reveal what they really think politically, and that undermines their credibility. You have to see this, because we're marinating in it. Do you not acknowledge that's happening?
I would acknowledge that it's important that when reporters, be they correspondents on television or print reporters at the New York Times or Reuters or any other news organization, that if they make a mistake, that they should correct it. And I think that's important. I think having bias is not acceptable. I think that it's important, however, also to know when you're a consumer of news, whether you're looking at a program that is biased or is not. And there are avenues, as you well know, at places like Fox, at places like other networks, where if you watch TV, you're going to get a certain angle, you're going to get a certain opinion. Know what you're watching, know what you're reading.
Look,
and correspondents who report for those organizations need to stay in their lane as well.
But they're not. And look, I do an opinion show. I've never been shy about my opinions. I tell the truth.
Do you think people who watch your show know that it's an opinion show?
Yeah, I mean, I give my opinions constantly. I never lie. I say what I really think. I'm not carrying water for any...
I suspect some people think it's a straight news show.
Well, look, I don't know why they would think that.
Okay.
Because I never say that. In contrast to the people standing in the briefing room who are telling us on camera, I'm just here to report the facts. And then you read their Twitter feed, and they're like, basically, I hate Trump. And this is a fascist takeover of the country. I mean, they are out in the open liberal. And I would think...
Do you have a specific example?
Well, we've done like 15 shows on this. I mean, and I know a lot of these people, and they've always kind of been liberal. But it's totally open. I mean, the New York Times correspondents, for example, we had the ombudsman for the New York Times on the show, read all these tweets from those people, her correspondence. She couldn't defend them. I'm just saying, as the head of the association, don't you feel that the credibility of the reporters you represent is undermined when they wave their opinions around in public?
I think it is important to report the facts and the news and to stay neutral.
Okay, so you would encourage your members not to reveal their political biases in public?
Look, it's not the Correspondents Association's job to tell our members how to do their jobs. It's just not. But we stand up for the values of truth, for the values of reporting the facts, and the value of the First Amendment, which is to have access to the president, to be able to do our jobs, and that's why we advocate for it.
But the idea that your readers or viewers believe you is central, not just to your business model. Right. Okay. So if you had a White House press corps that was 100% middle-aged white men, there would be a full-blown outcry about the lack of diversity. And I bet you $100 you would weigh in and say, you're right, this doesn't look like America. If you have not a single registered Republican in a country in which the Congress, the majority of governorships, and the White House are held by Republicans, that doesn't look like America at all. And yet, I don't think you're doing anything about it, are you?
Well, here's the thing. The White House Correspondents Association, and that's what I'm representing on your show tonight, has no impact over who our members hire. I can't tell Fox, which is a member of the White House Correspondents Association, you need to send this person. I'm
not asking you to be the HR department. I'm just.
Well, you are. You're saying I wouldn't do anything.
I'm saying, why don't you say something about it? If there was no racial or ethnic diversity, you would say, presumably, you'd say, this isn't right. Do you think it's okay that there are 0 registered Republicans in the White House press corps, according to Politico?
I think what's important is that we have a press corps that's made up of journalists who report the truth and who robustly report on the President of the United States.
So diversity doesn't matter in this case?
Of course diversity matters.
Oh, but not political diversity.
But diversity is very important, Tucker, but it is important to me in the role that I play.
That doesn't sound important at all to you. No, we're almost out of time, but is political diversity important to you?
Is diversity important?
Political
of course.
diversity.
Is it my job to talk about what journalists at the White House and the White House press corps do? Yes.
Right.
What they do is report the news regardless of what political party controls the White House.
I wish I believed that. I don't.